Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do our April the 26th, just for today, in a meditation. I hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well. I'm fair to middling. Excited, though, to read this. It's entitled Self-Acceptance, page 120. The most effective means of achieving self-acceptance is through applying the 12 steps of recovery. That comes from IP number 19, entitled Self-Acceptance. Most of us came to Narcotics Anonymous without much self-acceptance. We looked at the havoc we had wreaked in our active addiction, and we loathed ourselves. We had difficulty accepting our past and the self-image produced by it. Self-acceptance comes more quickly when we first accept that we have a disease called addiction, because it's easier to accept ourselves as sick people than as bad people. And the easier it is to accept ourselves, the easier it becomes to accept responsibility for ourselves. We achieve self-acceptance through the process of ongoing recovery. Working the steps of Narcotics Anonymous teaches us to accept ourselves and our lives. Spiritual principle like surrender, honesty, faith, and humility help relieve us of the burden of our past mistakes. Our attitude changes with the application of these principles in our daily lives. Self-acceptance grows as we grow in recovery. Just for today, self-acceptance is a process set in motion by the 12 steps. Today, I will trust the process, practice the steps, and learn to better accept myself. Let me read the end of that again for us. It says, just for today, self-acceptance is a process set in motion by the 12 steps. Today, I will trust the process, practice the steps, and learn to better accept myself. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please, and thank you. Interesting meditation. We're talking about self-acceptance here, and we're talking about how difficult it is for us as addicts to accept ourselves. We have a hard time with that. But once we start having self-acceptance, it makes a lot of other things easier. So here's the thing, right? This is what the meditation is trying to convey. We have a disease. It's not called cancer, right? It's not called diabetes. It's not called congestive heart failure. Those are all conditions. I wouldn't call those diseases other than cancer, right? But what it's saying is that the name of our disease is the disease of addiction. Now, it's easier for people like us to say, oh, you mean I have a disease? Oh, okay. I can cope with that. I understand that. So now that I know that I'm sick and I'm not bad, right? I'm not morally deficient. I'm not a bad human being. I am a human being with a bad condition called the disease of addiction. So now that I'm able to wrap my head around that, I'm also willing to hear what the treatment for this disease of addiction is, and I'm also willing to take the steps necessary in order to handle it so that at least the symptoms of the disease are aborted. They go away for the most part. Tell me how to treat this. Well, as it indicates here, working the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous teaches us how to deal with this disease of addiction. It helps us to be in a position to recognize when we're sick. I can't imagine someone having cancer and not knowing when they are feeling unwell as a result of it. It's almost kind of like the two go together. How are you doing today, MightyStream? Well, I'm not feeling well. I have a disease of addiction. Insert some other disease. I'm not going to speak that over myself. So, I have the disease of addiction, and I'm seeing that the symptoms of that disease of addiction are a little bit more high today than they usually are. Okay, MightyStream, so you feeling sick, got that disease of addiction, so you got a bad attitude today, you got the case of the, get out of here's, right? Right? Oh man, I'm trying so hard to be appropriate, right? So you're not feeling too well, huh? What did the doctor prescribe? Now, so what did the higher power subscribe? What did your higher power subscribe to you? Not subscribe, but prescribe to you so that you can handle this disease of addiction. It's not like I can run to the pharmacy and pick up some antidote for my disease of addiction. It's not, no. But if I'm comparing it to another illness, my higher power, my doctor, has prescribed Narcotics Anonymous's 12 steps and the spiritual principles that are therein for my treatment. Now, I look like a fool some days, talking about, oh, I don't feel well. Well, why don't you feel well? Oh, because my blood pressure is 180 over 101. Okay, so why is it so high? Oh, I just like seasoning salt on my popcorn. I just like the taste of salt. Okay, well, you're going to need to stop having salt. Oh, I can't break away from that. Well, if you don't want to take suggestions about how to deal with your disease, MightyStream, right? If you don't want to take suggestions on how to bring your high blood pressure back to where it needs to be, the doctor has given you medication to handle that. You're supposed to be taking that, and you're supposed to be taking your blood pressure throughout the day. If you don't want to do that, you're going to suffer the consequences of that disease, which could end up in a stroke or a heart attack. Is that what you want? No, that is not what MightyStreams want, right? It's not. No, I don't want anything I have going on health-wise not to be managed. So why would I let the disease of addiction go unmanaged if I'm just comparing the two, right? Today, I'm more mindful of the prescription and taking it to handle this disease of addiction, to manage this disease of addiction as though it was some or any other disease that I would be diagnosed with. And I'm very serious about it. I think you know that because you keep coming back and listening to the meditation. That's time that I have to spend in the meditation every day. And I'm just sharing my experience, right? I'm sharing this moment through this particular platform. But even if I didn't do the podcast, I would still be sitting here reading the meditations, because that's how I get an opportunity to see how the spiritual principles of Narcotics Anonymous can be applied in all of my affairs. It gives me a preview. It gives me an opportunity to see what others have thought about applying self-acceptance. It's like, listening to a group of recovering addicts that wrote this share their experience and their strength and their hope collectively. Doing the meditation is, don't discount it. Even if you don't come here every day, don't discount it. I think I've posted like maybe 3 of this particular day. So even if I'm not on here early enough, there is a meditation for that day, right? Whatever it is, all you have to do is type it in the search field here on YouTube and you'll find it, or Google it. You'll find it. You'll see the big yellow butterfly. You will see the big yellow butterfly. And with that being said, I want for you to think about how you are not self-accepting, because you need to know where you're at. I don't need to know how you're not self-accepting, right? You need to know that. And if you can identify the areas that you have no self-acceptance, you can also identify how to use this program to help you to become more self-accepting. And you got to get there. It's not like you can just say, oh, I'm not going to be self-accepting. I'm just live my life in recovery and I'm not going to be self-accepting. No, you need to have self-acceptance, because self-acceptance is you saying to yourself, honesty is the antidote to diseased thinking. And I have symptoms of the disease of addiction. I have symptoms of diseased thinking because I don't think this information actually applies to me. I don't need a sponsor. I don't need to make meetings. I just need to stay clean. Okay, try that and let me know how it works for you. Because in reality, that's not going to be enough. You're going to put the drug down and you're going to look up and you find you still standing there. You with your attitude, with our lying, our cheating, all of us, right? I'm saying you generally speaking, so don't be offended by that, okay? Let's not go there. I'm talking about all of us. Once we put the drug down, we see ourselves still standing. The same stinking thinking. That's part of our disease of addiction, because the disease of addiction manifests itself physically, mentally, and spiritually, right? We see it in every area of our lives. And once you put the drug down, which is just a mere symptom of the disease, is to pick up a substance to try and change our perception of reality. Right? It's just a symptom. Okay, so a person that has lung cancer stops using the medication to address that, to kill that cancer off, because they're no longer coughing their lungs out? No, they continue until the doctor tells them it's in remission. We killed that. That's gone. You don't have to lose your lung, right? But I wouldn't suggest that you go back to smoking. I wouldn't suggest that you, you know, uh, work with chemicals. I wouldn't suggest that you stop, right? Taking the medication that I've prescribed to you to help you feel better, right? Your oxygen intake is limited, and you need to maintain this. So what's the difference? I have to maintain the disease of addiction, starting with honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Those 3 spiritual principles are indispensable. Oh, come on, somebody, because I can go forever on this topic, because I know a lot about not having. I know the corner that my own dark thoughts can back me up into, my own intolerance, my own indifference. I know this sounds familiar to you guys because it's written in our literature, right? And it's rolling out of my mouth like I wrote it, but or thought of it, but it's not a new thought. I got this from the basic text, and it's become a part of who I am. And we want that for you too. Self acceptance helps you to turn the butt kicking machine off and say, you know what? Let me give myself a break today. My name is MightyStream. I've utterly enjoyed being with you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. I already am. Every time I do the meditation, my mindset switches into positivity. It switches. And I'm having a beautiful day even now with you. Talk to you tomorrow.